Alright. The name is Dale, doing the movie reviews for Dr. Sleep and Harriet. And I'm also going to do quick recommendations and reviews for movies you can actually watch at home or on your mobile devices. One is called Luce and the other is called The Art of Self-Defense. These reviews and recommendations are done on behalf of Audio Liquor Magazine. Gonna start off with Dr. Sleep. This is based off a Stephen King novel, and this is actually the sequel to the 1980 movie horror classic called The Shining. Recently, a lot of movies and streaming series have been based off Stephen King novels. You had It Chapter 2, which came out this year in like August. You have this Netflix original movie based off Stephen King novel called Tall Grass, which you can watch now on Netflix. You have Mr. Mercedes, which is on this cable channel that's connected to DirecTV if you had DirecTV. And I believe Mr. Mercedes is like in his third season now. I've only seen the first season and I really dig the first season. Haven't had an opportunity to see the second or third season as of yet. And then you have this Hulu series called Castle Rock, which is in the second season now, that's based off characters from Stephen King novels. So his material is getting a lot of attention as of late. And The Shining, the 1980 movie, is one of my favorite movies of all time. This is one of the movies when I was a kid in the 80s that really scared the crap out of me. Those two twins in the hallway and that old naked lady in the tub really creeped me out when I was a kid, really messed my head up. So it always baffled me that Stephen King disliked this version of the Shining movie, and I never could understand why he didn't like it. But at the same time, I never read the book, and I believe one of his gripes, or maybe his main gripe with the movie, is it wasn't a good representation of his book. And I believe my mother had the Shining book back in the day, but I never read the book, and I never read the Dr. Sleep book as well. So if you're not familiar with what Dr. Sleep is about, it takes place like 30 years later after the events of The Shining. The little kid in The Shining, Danny, who was one of the main characters in that film, is now an adult. He's grown up in Dr. Sleep, and now he has to protect this young girl who has similar, but I would say much stronger powers than he does. And he has to protect her from this cult called the True Knot, who feed off children with power in order for them to remain immortal. So the cast consists of Ian McGregor, who plays an adult version of Danny. Then you got Rebecca Ferguson, who plays Rose the Hat. She's like the leader of the cult. Then I don't know the little girl's name. I don't know her name, the actress name who plays her. But she has a great performance as well. It's just a good cast all the way around. You're going to see familiar faces playing certain characters that you've seen before in other series or films in the past. And this movie is like Stephen King version of mutants, like the X-Men. They all have like special abilities and different things they can do using mind power. And the True Knot, they kind of remind me like of a vampire cult, so to speak. They don't feed off these children like vampires, but when they swarm these kids to like take their soul or take their breath, they look like a bunch of vampires or even zombies when they gather to feed off the soul and power of these kids. And this film is not really, in my opinion, a horror flick. It feels more like a supernatural thriller. I was really loving and digging this movie until like the third act, until the end. There were a few scenes that I liked in the last act, but overall, the end let me down. I don't think they quite landed and executed the end as well as I was hoping and thinking they would. So I'm gonna have to downgrade the grade I give it. I'm going to give Dr. Sleep a B. If if the end was better, this probably would be an A, because that's how good the rest of the movie is. And so now I'm going to move on to Harriet. And Harriet is based off the true historical figure by the name of Harriet Tubman. She escaped slavery and then she transformed to be this American hero who helped free like 100 slaves. And Cynthia Erivo plays Harriet Tubman. She does a great job. You have other folks like Leslie Odom Jr., Clark Peters, Janelle Monáe. She plays a part in it. It's it's by the numbers. It's not a great movie. It's watchable. It's solid. My wife, she was digging it much more than I was. And she likes it much more than I do. But it was this, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's like these scenes where God is talking to Harriet Tubman and like she just stops in the middle of what she doing and sort of like this prayer, and I think they overdid it with that. It kind of took me out the movie. It got repetitive and I was like, oh, they doing it too much. And I thought that was a flaw in the film. But I will say this, I learned some stuff about Harriet Tubman that I did not know. I don't want to spoil anything. Well, this is maybe like a minor spoiler. I didn't know she actually fought in the Civil War, so that was new information for me. And even though I'm not as high on this movie as maybe my wife is, I still recommend you go see this at the theater, because we need more movies like this made about African American historical figures and different folks who help shape our culture, help shape who we are. We need more movies made like this, so I wanted to make money, even though I don't think it's a great film. I would give it a B-, but I still highly recommend you go see it at the theater so it can get that money from the box office, so they can keep on making movies about different folks. And I know people have some kind of like reluctancy to see it because they think it's another slave movie. It's not really a slave movie per se. I know it's about people escaping slavery, but you don't really see the beatings and the rapes and the overworking on the fields. You don't really see all that. Like Harriet Tubman is a slave, very brief in the very beginning, so you don't even really get to see her as a slave. So I wouldn't really say it's in the traditional sense you would think a slave movie would be. And so for those who like, I don't want to see another slave film, it's not what you think. So go see it. Anyway, I'm going to move on to Luce. This is a film that you can see at home right now. It was in the theater over the summer. I had meant to go see it. I intended to go see it, but for some reason or another I didn't. It was only at a small select theaters in the area. It's an independent film. It's about this married white couple who have to face questions about their ideal image of their adopted black son, who is from this war-torn country from Africa. He's been like the best adopted son up to this point until this discovery from his black teacher, who kind of questions his character and kind of questions who he really is, and basically kind of say he's not the person that you think he is. So the couple have to question what they thought was their perfect student son, because everybody just loves him. They think he's the model citizen, and this teacher is basically saying he's not. And that teacher's played by Octavia Spencer. You have Naomi Watts playing the mother of Luce, and then you have Tim Roth who's playing the father of Luce, and then you have Kelvin Harrison Jr. who plays Luce. And this is a very good movie. It's a drama. I don't understand why no one is talking about this film. It's highly I highly recommend it. It's very underrated. This should be in the Oscar nomination talks, and I don't hear nothing about it. Octavia Spencer, I believe, won an Oscar for supporting actress in Hidden Figures, which I didn't agree with. I'm not saying she's not a good actor, because she is, and I did think she did a good job in Hidden Figures. I just didn't think it was good enough for an Oscar nomination, let alone to win an Oscar. But for this role in Luce, she deserves an Oscar nomination. She kills it. I mean, the performances are great across the board. Calvin, his name Calvin, I think it is, who plays Luce, he does a great job. I highly recommend that I give this movie an A. You have to see it. This is a must-see film. It deals with race. It has a lot of layers to it. It has a lot of nuance and variables to it that you need to check out. So go see this movie at home somehow, some way. Now I'm going to move on to The Art of Self-Defense. This is a dark comedy about this young accountant who does not fit in anywhere. He doesn't have any friends, and one night walking from the store, he gets beat up by a group of unknown people who damn near beat him to death. They put him in the hospital. So now he decides to take up martial arts, karate. He decides to take classes in karate and martial arts while he's waiting for his gun permit to clear so he can get a firearm to protect himself. He doesn't want to wait, and so he decides to take karate in the meantime. And Jesse Eisenberg, he plays the character, the young accountant. I forgot the character's name. And you've seen Jesse Eisenberg in movies like Social Network. He played Lex Luthor in Batman vs. Superman. He's been in Zombieland 1 and 2. 2 just came out not too long ago. So you've seen this guy before. And he's played a character similar to this in other past films. But I think this is the best version of this character that he's played. This movie is a middle sequence of scenes that had me dying laughing. It was hilarious. I could not stop laughing. He just goes hard at work in this middle scene. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but the laugh just kept coming and coming. He was just going hard. It kind of reminded me of like some scenes from the classic comedy called Office Space. And he was just doing stuff at work that you just shouldn't do and wouldn't do, and it just had me dying laughing. Them scenes alone is worth seeing the movie. But the movie overall is a very good film. It's violent, some very violent moments, and it is very quirky and odd at times. I wouldn't say this movie is for everybody, but it's right up my alley. If you're the type of person that tend to laugh at stuff you shouldn't laugh at, then this movie is for you. So I recommend you go see this. Well, not go see it, because it's not at theaters anymore. You can watch it at home or on your mobile devices or things of that nature. So there you have it. I'm done. I'm finished.